Okay, we'll just give people a few more minutes. Still people coming in. It's great to see you all here. Grab yourselves a tea, a coffee, glass of water, get yourself settled down, and we'll soon begin. People still arriving. It's great to see you all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening from. Thank you for coming along. It seems like a natural point to stop that music. Thank you very much for joining us today. Let me just my video. Hopefully you can see me all. If you could give me a quick thumbs up or a nod, that'd be great. Here we are today. We're going to be talking about AI tools. Challenge Copilot, we've called it. Free up your time to become the strategic HR business partner. And we're just letting someone else in now. Hi, Liam. It's great to see you here. Thanks for coming along today. So we're going to be talking about Copilot. But before we go into that, just a couple of house rules. Feel free to drop your name in the chat, where you're from, and if you've got a specific HR problem to challenge Copilot, feel free to add that in there too. And that would be great to see. Just a quick reminder that we are all human beings here, so please respect each other on the call. If you want to come off mute, if you want to chat, then feel free to do so and engage by voice or text if you want to. This is a safe learning zone for us all, and I hope that we can contribute to your learning today. So, what are we chatting about? Well, we're not chatting about Skynet and Terminator. So those for unfamiliar with those references, the destructive robots which are controlled by AI in the future. No, we're too much talking about something akin to Wall-E, which is Disney's robot, which goes around cleaning up our stuff and making the world a better place. Okay. Quick agenda. So introduction, welcome. The things that we're going to be going through today, I have to excuse me, I've got a little bit of a cold today. It's this typical British weather where we are in the world, and I've picked up a little bit of the sniffle, so apologies as we go through. We're going to be talking about leveraging AI for HR tasks. And we're going to be going through a quick introduction to this thing called Copilot and its capabilities, going into some real world examples of things that we call prompts on this call as well. And then we're going to take a quick look at a pre-packaged demo, which really is quite useful when sort of bringing all of this together from the lens of onboarding and what you can do with all of that. So, Copilot and its capabilities. So, for those of you that aren't familiar with what Copilot is, it's like an artificial intelligence assistant, but artificial intelligence sounds a little bit scary sometimes. And what it really is a way of applying machine learning, which has been around for a long time now, to large amounts of data. And in the context of this thing called Copilot, it's using a large set of data, which this organization called ChatGPT have provided as an open source to the public. Excuse me. And that model, which ChatGPT has, is like billions of pieces of information around things that have been surfaced on the internet, compiled from various different repositories. And you can use ChatGPT now. It's free to use, as is Copilot. And there are other ones out there as well. Perplexity is one by Google. And there's all sorts of various different tools. But Copilot is Microsoft's tool. And one of the reasons that it's quite strong is from a security point of view. It can search your organization or your personal data, which you will have secured and categorized appropriately. And it can take a look at that, but it can also take a look at lots of other things. And if you go into the internet and go to Copilot, Microsoft.com, you're welcome to do this as we go along today. Please feel free to engage, give it a try out. You can also go to, if you've got an organizational account, you can try this out by going to that copilot.cloud at Microsoft. And that will take you to this sort of ring-fenced, more secure area to do things with. So what we can do with Copilot is quite phenomenal, quite frankly. And if you've never seen this in action, what we're about to do is just bring a couple of screens into view. So here is Copilot, our everyday AI companion, and that really is what it is. We've been fortunate enough to have been following this sort of trajectory of this tool as we've grown as a business, and we've used it for every single piece of our business. Anything that we can think of where we are asking a question and need something creating to get us part of the way towards a solution, then we're using Copilot. And there's some examples here of some things that we could look at in terms of information that we've got in front of us. So if you do have any specific inquiries, then please ask, but we're just going to go in here and start creating some prompts. Now, you can do all sorts of things around this. You can do hackathons, you can do promptathons. There's all sorts of ways of learning, but essentially I'm jumping straight in here at the deep end. I'm not going to ask anything which is hopefully going to reveal anything confidential. But the secret is really in the way that we construct the questions to it asking, ask me anything. Is everything good? Hopefully you can all see the screen still. As I say, do get any questions, feel free to engage as we're going through, come off mute and ask a question. Here we can say, let's start off with something which we will pick up again on later and create a job description. So let's create a job description which applies with practice for the role of sales director, as an example. Excuse me. We now click on the send thing, a bit like sending an email, and off it goes. And it's gone off and it's come up with a template. Now, it's saying there that you can make changes to that template. And if we want to do that, we can edit in Pages, we can copy that, we can just put it straight out into Word or your favorite word processing document. There are many out there. We might want to tailor this. We might want to say, oh, let's make some changes to it. Let's bring some enhancements in. And in which case we can simply copy that text up there and say that we want to do it a different way. So let's have some fun of, it's coming up towards that time of the year of all the festivities in December again. So let's say the role of one of Santa's elves, please provide me with competency-based questions for the role based on the Chartered Management Institute's professional standards. So a quick scan over that, make sure I've not made any typos, although it seems to be quite generous if you do make typos. And off it goes. So having a think about that. Here we go. And here it's coming up with all our competency-based questions as well.
Gareth,
yes.
Can you just check the lobby, see if anyone's in? Because I think my colleague's trying to get in.
Miriam?
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. I think Miriam's coming in now. Hi, Miriam. It's good to see you. Thank you very much for joining. We're just going through the use of this tool called Copilot, which is Microsoft's sort of AI tool. And we have created a job description for one of Santa's elves so far, and come up with some competency-based questions based on the Chartered Management Institute's professional standards framework. And that's what you can hopefully see on screen. It's great to see you. Well, thank you very much for joining. Hopefully you can see the screen. You'll catch up as we're going along, but we're going through the AI tool, which Microsoft have brought out to help us all, called Copilot, and we're looking at some job descriptions on the screen. And I will just crack on with some further examples, but if you would like to add any more questions into the chat, if you've got any particular examples yourself that you want us to run through Copilot, feel free to do so. What I think we probably need, though, at this point in time is some example visuals, I think. So let's say create some example test visuals, some photorealistic example test visuals to test candidates for the role of Santa's elves, role of one of Santa's elves, and the strict quality standards needed for the new steampunk toys. Too much fun. Right, let's see what on earth that comes up with, just to give you an example. But you can create imagery, which is the good thing about this. And it's scary. My brother's a computer graphic artist, and yeah, it was something that might have taken him days to do will now create seconds for us to do. And this is a free, this is free from Microsoft Copilot up to a certain extent. So it's a bit like ChatGPT, but you can do all these cool and strange things with it. My favorite was creating a picture of my golden retriever and a Batman costume, but I'm sure we'll evolve past that and use it for other things that we need to. But there's a couple of examples. But if we go back to where we started at the top of this, you may have seen that we can also compare graphs and things like that. So we can create analysis of charts. We can do some workforce analysis. We can do those sorts of things. We can create letters. So let's have a look to see what that may look like. Create a letter welcoming a candidate into a new role at Lightrise Consulting. We've moved on from center now. Go for a real world example. There we go. And it's come up with a letter. So you can see it's done a lot of the work for us. And that is really why we shouldn't be scared, because it's doing a lot of the work for us. So those types of questions that we get on our day-to-day roles, the sort of letter writing, the basic admin, we can try and use AI to assist us. If we were a business partner, we could get a little bit more sophisticated here and say things like, can you coach me on how to approach the union of Santa elves when negotiating a workforce wise compensation settlement. And it will go off and search through the web and give us some thoughts on this. Now, you do need to be careful. You shouldn't use this for legal information, although there are some legal providers out there that have got their own models, which are very good, and obviously can be used to provide legal indicators in a much stronger sense. But if you are worried about things, a good way of checking on some of these things is to actually talk about referenceability. So if we go back to what we asked this chat system up here, and we ask it for some reference sites as well on this, with references to UK case law. Guess we'll be in a test for it. Let's see what happens. Now, it depends on the model that's being used. So if you're using ChatGPT, say 3.5, I think you made 4, these things are only up to date to a certain point in time. And with Copilot, it's always using the latest information. It's not just using ChatGPT, it's using multiple sorts of models behind the background as well, which I'm happy to chat in detail about if you want to go down that route. But please just reach out to me if you want to chat about that sort of thing. You can see here, it's gone through, it's made a couple of references. So we could now check those out and go through the website and see exactly what that's about, where it's got its information from, and drill down into it a little bit more. But as I say, it's useful as a springboard. So that's really quite interesting. Does anyone have any questions? Is this useful to you? And you're thinking, is this revolutionary? Have you seen these sorts of things before? Is there any specific examples that you want us to go through? Please put your notes in the chat, or feel free to come off mute and engage if you want to. Otherwise, we'll just take a quick sip of my water and we will continue. So you might find that this is also quite useful to us when someone joins an organization. And I think what would be a good thing to sort of go into a little bit now is exactly what that can look like. So if you just bear with me, we will bring that into view. So what we've got here is a demonstration which Microsoft have put together. It's a point and click demonstration, just to reveal the magic cards there. But yeah, also so you understand what you're looking at as we're going through this. And this shows off some of the capabilities that I've gone into in a live demonstration now. But it also brings in various different other features as well. So if you just bear with me, I will bring that into view. And here we are now. Let's just shuffle a couple of other things around on this end. Okay, so I'll just change the magnification. Hopefully we're all good, and then you can see that. You should be seeing a picture of an onboarding checklist and something called Loop. If you can't see that, then please do shout. Loop is kind of like the cooler cousin to Teams. It's another social and digital engagement tool which Microsoft have had out for around a couple of years now, I think. But just so you can understand what we're looking at here, we are going to put on our hat as a HR rep, actually, called Nesta Wilk at AdventureWorks, and we've been tasked with improving our onboarding process, specifically focusing on a HR support advisor role. So let's say we're going to start this off in Loop. We're going to then ask Copilot, which is embedded in Loop here, and you'll see Copilot embedded in lots of different places: Word, PowerPoint, and hundreds of other ones, which are too many to go into here, sadly, but there are lists of them if you're ever interested in going down that route. Copilot's then going to go and create a draft for us. So we've got that in view. We're going to keep that draft. And there it all is here. And now we are just going to go through, get our Copilot up and running again. Come down into our window and ask it to summarize the onboarding feedback and training sessions. So this is where it's now starting to look off within our enterprise or our business. Now there's a number of best practice steps to go through this, and things that you should do to keep your house in order, essentially from an information management point of view. But it's done that, or you haven't done that, and you've got things that you've deemed that aren't risky. And it's gone ahead and it's going to summarize some of this information for us. So going back there, so it's looking through emails and other content there. And it comes back and we're able to take an edit of that information. And we can actually share that out to our colleagues as well. Now, if I just come down to Word and we go into Copilot here, we can see this is now Copilot within Word as an example. And we'll just ask it how it can actually improve this particular policy document with all that information and the feedback that we've just got. We'll send that off and off it goes again. And what we'd like to do at this point is just use Copilot to add some more detail to this particular document. Off it goes. And it's embedded a new section. So, you know, it's pretty awesome so far in terms of what we're able to do with this in the context of some of the business applications, which we might be using on a daily basis. We'll come back down to Edge here on the taskbar, and we'll start asking Copilot a few more questions. We want a summary of some of the information that we've received from our colleagues in order to inform the next steps, basically, around this HR support advisor role, which we've got going. And off it goes. And it goes through and it's summarized all of those steps, and it's providing further context down here as well. Prompts to us to get us to think about the types of things that we might want to explore further with all of this. We have got a summary here of some of the results that we've had, in case that we want to go back to these to chat to anyone at all. So that's really quite useful. And let's just go back and prompt it again. So now we're thinking about this, you know, onboarding plan, what that looks like, checklist. Now you can embed this checklist once you've got the tasks into all sorts of tools. You could use Trello to do, Microsoft Planner, various different HR systems where they've got task management features. So all sorts of things that you could do at scale if you needed to. And with each of those tasks, we could provide that information to Copilot and ask it to provide a little bit more context, or even some graphics, or perhaps some process notes. So anything that we think around this process and the different angles that we look at, we can look at through the lens of something like Copilot to help us along. Let's quickly edit this one in Pages. And I think we basically here want to we've got most of the things ready. We want to create our first asset in PowerPoint. And let's go to the Copilot icon again. We're going to create a presentation about this employee onboarding at VentureWorks with the timeline and all the bits and pieces that we need in it. At a high level anyway, we can always see what it looks like and expand out on our prompts as we go through this information. I'm going to select this bit here, and we're going to generate some slides on that. And for anyone who's familiar with Microsoft Designer, which is also quite helpful, this is sort of moving this forwards a little bit further with its design. And you can see there, it's presented a relatively good set of slide decks, which we can, maybe it's done 80% of the work. And now we can move those around, make changes to them to enhance them, and everything else that we need to do. Here on the right-hand side, it's providing some further design suggestions to us. And we can, as I say, make changes to that if we wanted to. We could now go off in Copilot, create pictures, depending on exactly how we wanted to tailor the employee digital experience to look and feel. And we could embed that within modern SharePoint, Teams, Slack, whatever digital tools that you are using. So that is a very quick sort of overview. Hopefully it's been useful, of some tools that we've been using essentially to help us out. And when you're sat on this information and trying to help people, you want to help as many people as possible. So the bits and pieces that we've shared with you today, most of it is free from Microsoft. As I say, use the links that I've put there together throughout this presentation. But I've got a few bits and pieces also to share with you at the end of this session, which is coming up soon. But I just would like to offer any of you the opportunity to ask any questions you might have, anything you want me to go into a little bit further. By all means, feel free to reach out to us. Sometimes it can be really useful to take a particular scenario and drill into that, and we can really, find out a little bit more around what we can do to help you out exactly. This is a weekly series of events which we've started as well, so feel free to join the sessions as we go forwards. And we've got a couple of other bits and pieces we can share with you as well, which you might find useful in the context of all of this today. So this is a let me just bring this into view, bear with me. This is a QR code should you want to chat to us more about a particular scenario. That will take you through to a booking site. You have to log in there. It's a bit like Calendly, type in who you are, etc., and you can find a 30-minute session with us. We'll help you out essentially by taking what your particular challenge area is and seeing what we can do. What we can do isn't just limited to what we've shown you. I'll leave this with you as well. So Copilot has something called Copilot Studio as well, which is what I'm logged into here. This gives you the control to create your own bots, essentially. So now you go on these retail sites and it pops up in the bottom corner and it says, "Oh, can I help you today?" And off it goes. Not just retail sites, but lots of things. But you get the idea. Well, this enables you to create similar things. So you could point this at your website, or you could point this at a repository of information, such as a SharePoint site, or other things. We have predefined template solutions here from Microsoft in Copilot Studio that will accelerate you to get the best out of this. You might need a HR agent, for example, which is pointing to lots of information which you've had on your emails and all sorts of bits and pieces that we all know that we've got and where those things are. We can summarize them, and actually it's not just conversations that we had in the past, perhaps conversations that we've had in the past that can help inform the future. Those are the types of things that you can do with Copilot Studio, which are really quite useful and easy and accessible. This doesn't require programmers anymore. And the other thing that I wanted to quickly share with you as well, and just bring this one back into view here. is this particular website here. Excuse me. Now, this is a Microsoft website that you can access, adoption.microsoft.com, en/US or GB Copilot-scenario-library. If you get stuck and you can't remember it, reach out and we'll let you have the link. But as you can see here, again, lots of different templates and really help you get started in human resources and many other business function areas across your business. So please do take a look at that. And as a bonus, we've chucked in a QR code there, which takes you to what we've called the Lightrise Library of Interesting Things. And it is. It's a library of interesting things. It's our microsite, which contains all sorts of ebooks, case studies, return on investment. There's lots of information there, not just across Copilot, but a wider base of things which we like to help people of. And if you ever find yourself in need of information, then by all means, please do dip in there and check it out. I'm just going to take a quick look to see on the chat to see whether or not there is any questions here. Okay, so yeah, that we can get the links to you. Well, that's no problem, and we'll also post a link to this session as well. It is being recorded today, so hope you don't mind. But if there's any information there we can help you with, but as you say, it's quite intuitive. Feel free to get going, I would say. It's not Skynet, it's more Wall-E. And if you start thinking through your day-to-day life, I always say to people, think about all those activities that you don't really want to do, but you've got to do them. Yeah, and just test it, test Copilot, ask it whether it can do things, and you'll find what its limits are. It has ethical limits. It won't cross certain boundaries, and we, as responsible AI users, would encourage you to use AI ethically. And there's a framework which Microsoft use for that, but there's also international frameworks in Europe and those sorts of things as well. There's a lot of best practice out there. Yeah, just give it a shot, give it a try, and more importantly, just share with us how it's going. We'd love to hear from you and hear about your successes and what you've able to recover in your life in terms of these small admin jobs, whether they're writing letters to your children's school, getting involved with tenders, finding out how to translate books that you've seen on YouTube from Latin. That was something that I did the other day. But yeah, give it a shot. It is very, very good. And at the start of this journey, so we've been using it for just over a year, and I was worried. I was thinking, oh my goodness, it is going to change jobs in a way that we might not like. But the reality is, as the years gone on, and the people I spoke to, they have just increased their productivity. Now, this obviously creates new challenges, but it does seem to be on the better side of work-life balance, because people are able to do all the things which were just mounting up in lists to do before. So I've spoke to a few copywriters, and their output is, but everyone's saying the same thing, that now we've been using it, we couldn't live without it, really. It's enabled a lot of people's success. And to say, look forward to hearing more about your stories of success as well. If there aren't any further questions, then I'd like to thank you. So wherever you are in the world listening today, have a great morning, a good afternoon, or a fantastic evening. And thank you very much for watching today. Look forward to seeing you all again next week, or at some point in the future. And so if you need any help, then please do feel free to reach out. And I'll just quickly put that one back on screen as well. There's the QR code should you want to grab a 30-minute call and take a deeper look at some of these scenarios or any particular challenges which you may be stuck with. Thank you very much, folks. Take care of yourselves and speak soon.